Hey lady, welcome to the Postpartum on Purpose podcast. If we haven't met, my name is Anne-Marie. I'm wife to James and mom to 5 beautiful kids, ages 9 down to 2 months, with 1 miscarried baby. It is my hope to help other women experience postpartum as a time of grit, growth, and grace. This is episode 66. Hi lady, I hope you are so well. Let's start out with free things as we do now. If you're new here, free things are something that I share each week, just a couple things that I came across. And the purpose of doing that is twofold. One, as a reminder that we can live rich, beautiful, meaningful lives without breaking the bank, which is especially important the more children that we have. And 2, because the more that we pay attention to the good things that are already available in our lives, things that are already happening for us, that gratitude is one major component of living a rich, beautiful, meaningful life. Free things this week in no particular order. I recently downloaded the Hinge Health app, not the Hinge dating app, but the Hinge Health app, which is covered through my husband's insurance. I'm actually going to do a separate review completely on the topic of the Hinge Health app because I actually really like it very much. But if you do a certain amount of sessions, they give you incentives. And the very first one arrived in the mail today. It was a little pack of resistance bands in 3 shades of green, very pretty, with a carrying case and a stand to hold your phone or tablet upright as you're doing your workout, because the exercises that they have you do as part of this Hinge Health app are on your phone, usually, or your tablet. That's number 1. Number 2 is that my son got a free ride from one of our Grandma Tribe members to and from Mass, which he served on Tuesday at our parish. And you might say, a free ride, really? Yes, it's very important that we pay attention to the things that other people are doing for us already, or the things that they offer to do, the ways that other people are helping us. And it is a great gift to have somebody pick up my son, bring him to Mass so that he is there plenty of time early, and then he can stay as long as adoration lasts after Mass and help put things away. And what I love about it is that the lady who's picking him up, who's our Grandma Tribe member, she's the sacristan. And now she won't be leaving church by herself, especially as it's getting dark early. In the dark, she will have somebody else with her. So win-win both ways. And then I've also started doing one small change, talking about the tiny steps to show the progress that is being made throughout the postpartum period. But this week we are doing something just a little bit different. Instead of one small change, I am sharing one medium-sized goof up. Because sometimes goof ups happen during postpartum, don't they? Whether it's from lots of things going on, not having as much sleep as we would like, maybe a combination of things, trying to keep a lot of balls in the air at one time, manage a lot of people's schedules. On Sunday, I told my kids, I told them several days in advance, and my husband, we are going to go to a fall festival with friends of ours that's hosted by their church. And we are supposed to bring a dessert because it's a potluck style dessert. And then the rest of the food they're going to provide. Okay. The free pie that I told you about last week in episode 65, I had put in the freezer for a special occasion until such time as we should need it. And so we thawed it and brought it with us. And we got to the parking lot. And there's nobody there. The fall festival is next Sunday. It's next Sunday. My husband said, do we have a gift card anywhere? Because we were already in town. We live about 22 minutes away from the church. Do we have a gift card anywhere? Yep, we do. We had one more gift card left from when my daughter was baptized several months back, and we got a bunch of gift cards because people were super generous. We used that gift card. Everything turned out just fine. But that was the medium-sized goof up for this week instead of the one small change. I hope that's helpful to you. Just a reminder that we all do that. The topic for this week, honestly, it's not a lot of life hacks, but it's just briefly about this idea of how do we respond when everybody needs us or seems like they need us at one time? Because isn't that just the way during postpartum? And isn't it just the way when we are learning new routines, when we are managing our expectations of ourselves, of other people, especially our children, when we are acclimating ourselves or becoming acclimated to a new family member. And our children know that, but they don't know that. And they need things or think they need things all the time. And maybe at the same time, often at the same time as the baby legitimately needs something. How do we respond to that? I'm recording this episode kind of late-ish for me because I watched the entirety of a movie that I first saw many, many years ago called Bringing Up Baby. It is a Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant classic. It was in black and white. And at the end of it, my daughter said, next time, could we watch it in color? I think she said, next time we watch the color version. But it was a classic in terms of that back and forth, rapid fire. Banter is not quite the right word because a fair amount of it was really sarcastic, and banter is more lighthearted, but playful, I think. This became playful right halfway through the movie or 3/4 of the way through. But the first part of it was just really funny, but sarcastic and or frustrated back and forth. And I watched it again because there are two quotes that I try to remember from that movie specifically when I am in these situations where it just seems like everybody needs something at once. And the first line that I wanted to share was uttered by Cary Grant when he was trying to impress this gentleman on the golf course, because the gentleman was going to be of influence in getting him, Cary Grant, $1 million for this museum that he worked at. But as he's trying to impress this gentleman on the golf course, Katharine Hepburn is stealing his car after she has already stolen his golf ball and thought that it was hers. And the thing that Cary Grant yells at this other gentleman as he is trying to go get his car that Katharine Hepburn is stealing is, "I'll be with you in a minute, Mr. Peabody." And he says this phrase 4 or 5 times as he's trying to not look like a crazy person escaping, trying to keep her from escaping, but he's trying not to look like a crazy person in front of Mr. Peabody, the gentleman who's supposedly going to get the $1 million for him. And when things are crazy with my kids, I try to remember that, at least in my head, and sometimes I'll say it out loud. "I'll be with you in a minute, Mr. Peabody." And it just brings things back to reality, which is almost all of the time, nobody's on fire. Nobody's on fire. It's not necessary to get super worked up. Now, does everybody seem like they need something perhaps at once? Sure. Is everybody crying all at one time? Oh, yes, very definitely. Sometimes that is happening. And I don't have a tip or a trick for you to make that not happen, truthfully. Just all cards on the table. I do not have a way to prevent you from multiple people, especially small people who still wear absorbent underwear, from crying or whining or screaming or whatever at the same time as you are trying to, let's say, feed the baby or bring in groceries from the car. I don't know how old your older child or children are. But if in those moments, if you can find your version of, "I'll be with you in a minute, Mr. Peabody," I'm just telling you, you will have more energy for the journey and it will be less exhausting. Not that it won't be exhausting. I go back in my head too to this phrase that I mentioned several episodes back, but paraphrasing it, it's from a blog post that I read that was 10 years old, but I only came across it a couple months ago. Something to the effect of, the things that we love make us tired, or we tire out doing or caring for the things that we love. So I'm not promising you that you won't be exhausted. I'm just saying you will have maybe a bit more energy than you would have otherwise, or you will exhaust more slowly. And then the other thing I wanted to offer you, the second quote from that movie, was something else that comes to mind too. And it's, I don't know, probably 2/3 the way through the movie. Cary Grant is now with Katharine Hepburn, and they are chasing this leopard. The entire story is preposterous, except that it really does get kind of clever and fun, sort of as they weave all these extra characters into it. So by the end of the movie, there, I think 8 or 10 different people involved, which in and of itself is clever that they weave all these storylines in. But about whatever this point is in the movie, Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn are out at night and they're searching for this leopard called Baby. The name of the movie is bringing up Baby. Baby is the leopard. And Cary Grant says, he acknowledges to her that he's starting to have feelings for her, sort of. But what he says is, I have to admit that in moments of quiet, I find myself strangely attracted to you. But there haven't been any quiet moments. And I just try to keep that in mind when I do love my children, right? But don't like them sometimes in the moments where everything is just kind of going sideways or it feels like things are starting to spin out of control. I just think of that. In quieter moments, I find myself strangely attracted to you, but there haven't been any quiet moments. Lady, that's it. That is truly all that I have that I wanted to share with you on that topic. Just this idea that while we cannot escape, right? We cannot escape the frustrating or draining challenges all the time. Certainly, we can learn things like how to maybe head things off before they escalate into a temper tantrum in the grocery store, or maybe we leave a place before the kids get too tired. That's something I was reading about in the 1975 Mother's Almanac book I was borrowing from the library recently. A tip of leave the museum or leave the park or leave the whatever before anybody else quite wants to go, so that their ending thought about it is that they had a great time, as opposed to you dragged them out of there kicking and screaming. Maybe that's self-evident, but it wasn't to me. And I will tell you that every place I have taken my children since then, it's occurred to me, oh, am I waiting too long here? Should we leave a bit sooner? Would it be better if we left a bit sooner before people are starting to get cranky and whiny and hungry and thirsty and tired? Just a thought. So all of that to say, yes, of course, we can learn more skills over time. And some of those skills are going to lead to fewer meltdowns, fewer tantrums, but there will still always be, in the course of our motherhood, moments that are stretching and challenging us that aren't particularly urgent. Nothing is seriously wrong, but we do feel pulled in multiple directions at once, right? We may have the thought, there's only one of me. I don't have enough arms. And I know that when I was working in the ICU, I had heard that when Mother Teresa of Calcutta, or Saint Teresa of Calcutta, Mother Teresa, that when you were in front of her, it felt like you were the only person in the room or in the world, the only person that she saw. And I heard something similar about Pope St. John Paul II. And I felt so frustrated by that because at least in the ICU, you had to have a phone on you because you had two patients, and if something went crazy and sideways with the other patient, you needed to be able to get, for somebody else to get hold of you. And I just thought, I would love to be able to just focus on the person in front of me. And I did that to the best of my ability. But I think too, as moms, we do have a lot of things pulling at our attention. And sometimes we're trying to be present to multiple things, people, situations, all of that. If we could just hold it as loosely as possible, maybe that's our best bet. Not that we can make it completely go away. Not that we are able to be completely laser focused on just one person or just one thing. Maybe we do have to have a few things or thoughts in mind at one time. But if we can find our own version of, I'll be with you in a minute, Mr. Peabody, and try to see the humor in whatever the situation is, I promise you, it won't be quite as hard.